Hello and welcome everybody out there in YouTube and D&D land. I hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, before we jump into the action, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you are interested in this content. If you want to support us a little further, consider becoming a member of our channel. Members start at $2 a piece, I think, right now. Some shit like that. I don't know. I turned it as low as I could. That's a lie. I turned it very low. I don't want to set it to $1. That's too cheap. I'm worth more than $1. But if you want to do that, you get some really cool emotes and you get to follow along everything that we've been doing here. And if you're interested in joining our community in our Discord server, you can go ahead and click the link down in the description below to our Patreon, join our Patreon, and get set up inside of our Discord. But without further ado, let's get into the action. So, Corvus, we knew this was going to happen.
Yeah.
You had a whole month off, buddy. A whole month
At this rate, I'm gonna get another one at some point.
More than likely, yeah.
So
Go ahead and give us the recap.
So to start the session, we talked to Onel, who had still yet to properly introduce himself by that point, and we learned that he had been searching for Sinclair for some number of years. After talking that out, we worked on formulating our plan in regards to tracking down and finally, I guess, apprehending, for lack of a better word, the Dust's long lost son. Wait, it is the Dust family. It's the volcano, right? I always mix those up.
That is correct.
Okay. We decided that since we already found out that he was in Whitestone, I think it was. Since he was already there, we figured we'd try to apprehend him. We try to get ahead of him and go straight to Vasselheim in order to, lie in wait and just spring a trap on him that way. Then once we finished setting up the bare-bones skeleton of a plan that we called fully thought out, we went shopping. Fordrum looked into getting some lessons, and I think we got a couple of little items. After that, we spent some time at Fordrum's place with all his family, and eventually got the owl bear, a mask, and I think a job was thrown in there as well. So hopefully it lasts. By it, I mean the town. We did some last-minute research on Vasselheim in order to figure out what we're going to do while we wait for the sun to get there. And we did manage to procure transportation, but there was a cost that I had to be the one to handle any negotiating that came up along the way. And I think that brings us up to tonight.
So, you all are waiting inside of the Cobalt Soul in Uthadern. You all have gathered your things together and are about to embark to a new continent to most of you, but very familiar to one of you individuals. Is there any last-second preparations you want to do in Uthadern before you travel to Whitestone?
I think I'm good.
Did we glean any information from deciphering that guy's planner?
Oh, you did spend the day
He
doing
did.
that, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. Roll me an investigation, please.
Yes, sir.
Let's see what you discover. Not bad. So, inside of this planner, your boss, well, ex-boss? Yeah, ex-boss. Apparently had 3 deals that he was working on within Uthadern. The one was the procuring of that moonstone that was supposed to go to an individual with the initials of TI. The second dealing that he was supposed to have was supposed to be a spying of some political advisor. Get some information from that individual about things and how they're working in Uthadern. The third thing he was supposed to do was to stop by a magic shop and procure a parcel there. One that he was supposed to be waiting for.
Did it happen to say the name of the shop?
No, there's very few specifics ever in these books.
Okay.
It does remind me, I never told everyone last week about the warning I got from the creepy lady that taught me scrying that there was somebody who had a line on us and was watching or was looking for us. I'm pretty sure it's Corvus's favorite spider lady, but
You did finish your book, right? Conversion.
I finished all the spells that I have ink for.
Okay. Did you need any more ink before we left?
They're out.
There
Okay.
is no more ink in Uthadern. In all of Uthadern, there is no
Hey-o.
more ink.
Hi.
There's Fordrum.
Hey, how?
Hey.
Welcome.
So I was a little late.
No worries.
You're good. You're good. You missed very little, honestly.
Yay.
Just the recap that Corvus had to do.
And you're all about to leave, and I'm asking if people want to do any last-minute things before you leave Uthadern and travel to a whole new world.
Right.
We just got some information from the planner too.
Cool.
Yes.
How did we decide we're leaving?
Giant birds.
Sweet. Who has one of those?
I don't know. I figured there's there's mountains around. We can go hunt them down.
We're getting
Oh.
teleported by the Cobalt Soul. Remember?
Yeah.
You
We just
brokered
don't
it.
ask questions of who owns the other side. We can't make a copy of the circle.
Oh,
You're not allowed to make a copy,
that one.
and
Corvus has to do
they
the
are
talking.
really, really emphasizing that Corvus should do all of
Right,
that.
right. Yeah, that one. Okay.
And before we leave, Corvus is signing this document.
Otis display name.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm trying to
You're
open
good.
my things. Damn it.
Is there more than one magic shop in Uthadern?
Yes, more than likely. There's the shady one, and then there's the more renowned one, probably.
Is there?
Yes.
Okay.
We
Would it-
literally went to the shady one.
No.
Exclusive.
Would it benefit us to try to get some information on the parcel?
I can tell you this: they shut down shop last night.
I'm going to take a wild guess that the parcel he was picking up was the brooch that Corvus sold to the creepy shop lady, and he's probably returning it to Belder Marie. That's my guess.
Could have been
That
the
only
beard
means
hair
something.
too.
You don't
couple
know.
I know only 2 other people know all those names, but
My only concern about this is, didn't one of us give her a piece of them?
yeah,
So if it was that,
He gave that to her before you copied the parcel, or after you copied the parcel, though.
we copied the thing, right? But we don't know when they picked it up, and if that was the pickup.
Well,
Oh, he knew
He
about it
sold
before.
that
Gotcha.
after you copied your book, so there's no timeline where that would sync, unless this is a magical book, which that'd be pretty cool.
Would
Yeah.
be pretty cool.
Magical day planner that automatically updates itself.
Mhm.
I need one of those.
I carry one in my pocket.
I'm gonna say I have one.
Oh.
Runs on Android.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you don't use that.
Grows on an apple.
Oh, I do
But
not
yeah.
use anything Apple.
Yeah, I have Corvus sign the fiendish contract, so he's got his modest charm.
Okay. Corvus, give the man 25 gold.
Already did.
All right. The man, don't add the 25
Nope,
gold.
I
Come
know.
on.
Bubba.
Could have at least lied and said 30. Get yourself a little something. But anyway.
But is Corvus paying people back finally?
Wow.
He took that from the party loot, I
You
think.
did.
Oh,
I offered to pay you back, and you know it.
Technically, I owe you a bunch of money too, so let's really not bring all that up.
nobody actually does. I just felt like it was time to take a dig now that you know the family and everything else.
Right. So anyways, you're all about to leave Uthadern. Each of you was packed a lunch from Mama, of course.
Yeah.
Oh.
And you go to the Cobalt Soul. Deep within the stacks of their libraries, there is a sectioned off room that has forbidden text to almost anybody. Argan, you've been back here a few times already, but nobody else has been allowed back here with you, except for the expositor that you've befriended. They bring you over to the middle of all of the bookshelves where you see there's this large teleportation circle pre-drawn and imbued into the solid stone slabs of the flooring. And as you all step onto them, they glow slightly. A different mage steps out, a halfling woman, who comes over to the runic markings and starts sprinkling dust around in a circle. Within a minute, the circle ignites, and all of you feel a whirling, rushing sensation through your entire bodies that sends you coursing across all of Exandria to land at a different location in this world. Who here has teleported many times before?
What is
Argan
your
has.
definition of many?
More than 5.
Me, I
Probably
think.
not.
This
Sinclair, I believe that.
Different levels of hell require teleportation.
I could see maybe
Argan, I
once
would
or
also
twice, but on my end, but not much.
I think
Then the other 3, I need
I'm
Constitution
getting
saving
really
throws.
close to it, but I don't know if I've crossed 5.
You're getting there. The other
This
3
might be
con saves.
5.
Ooh,
Oof.
Onell's the only one who failed. As you swirl through reality itself, feeling it contort, expand, and send you skyrocketing off into a different territory and land on the ground. Corvus, you feel a little queasy, but you're getting your bearings. You're getting them. Fordrum, this is a fucking
I like
blast.
this.
It's so much fun.
I liked it the last time too, though.
Onell, whatever you ate previous to this is now on the floor.
directly behind the chair because I'm polite.
I just pat his back. It's okay, Fred.
I hate these.
Ah. Magic gotcha.
You get used to it.
Magic roller coaster ride.
That or you remember not to eat before you take a trip.
Yes.
But anyways, you look around yourselves and you see a large room about 40 feet by 40 feet side to side. No windows within eyesight of you, but you can see these large cutouts in the stone-shaped wall above you, maybe about 30 feet or so, that are ever so small, just enough to allow the little bit of daylight and wintry air into this tower that you are standing in. There's a single door in front of you made out of solid, dark-colored wood, and there are 2 large standing guards at the doors. These guards are adorned in a simple steel armor that looks not very ornate, but very practical and kind of mass-produced, though they are both wearing breastplates within themselves. They are currently holding spears in their hands. They have what appears to be short swords by their sides, and some large contraption attached to their backs, a long cylindrical object that has a bit of a triangular bottom to it that none of you are familiar with at all. The two guards look at you all.
And
Are you all well?
I am now.
I just prestidigitation the sickness away.
Well, that gets the liquid, but doesn't clean up the mess.
That's brave. I was going to ask before casting a magic spell in this place.
Magic is permitted in this room specifically. In this room specifically. You all are perfectly fine. Welcome to Castle Whitestone.
That is why
okay.
they want you to talk. Okay.
Sinclair, you have no fucking idea who any of these people
No.
are. That's what the
I
fuck's
understand the term castle.
that? Oh, that's fair.
Corvus, your nobility.
That is correct.
You handle the politics.
Corvus, you know it is only proper to introduce the individuals.
I am Corvus Asteroth, and these are my traveling companions. This is Fordrum, Argin, Sinclair, and O'Neill. We are passing through on a mission of sorts.
Yes, of course. We received sending last night that all of you are coming through here. Lady Derola would like to speak to you personally.
Oh, wonderful.
The two guards nod, and they open up the doors where all of you are hit with this piercing cold wind that just chills through your body and is so frigid and nasty. Fordrum, you grew up in a very cold environment, but you don't have wind unless you're outside on the
Yeah.
mountains and shit. It's still even a little nippy to
Yeah.
you. But it ain't bad. It's like, ooh,
This is like that hike we just made.
It's winter.
oh yeah.
And we did that during a blizzard.
That is why they call it Whitestone.
Fair.
And when you all step outside, you notice that there's about a 5-foot gap between all of you and a sheer plummet down to the ground, a good 400 or 500 feet up. You look to the side where there is a winding staircase attached to the rectangular building that slowly descends on each of the platforms back down to the ground. You imagine infiltrating through here would be a fucking bitch. Please follow us. And the two guards gesture all of you out onto the platform, close and lock the door behind you, barring it with a large, hefty chain as well, and begin escorting you down. You look out at this incredible landscape of these thick, large timberlands that engulf all of Whitestone itself, and you can see from your heightened vantage point that you appear to be on top of a mountain that looks down upon a civilization, an entire city beneath you. This city, although it's not very wide, not very large, is very dense with houses. You can just barely make out what appears to be 5 incredibly large homes, and all of the other ones seem much more compact, close-knitted to one another. And you notice something a little strange despite this incredible cold landscape that you are experiencing. You notice that there is a massive tree in the center of this town with golden leaves.
I just lean forward, look over there.
It's a beautiful
see
tree.
it.
Do I know what that tree is?
Your previous roll on Whitestone was
Okay.
not very good.
That's
Argan.
fine.
Sorry. Yeah. You descend down the walkway, making it to the bottom staircase with only a little bit of a catching of breath for all of you seasoned adventurers. Argan, it's so terrible having to take stairs. Ugh.
He doesn't have to take.
Wait a minute. Did I not bring my chair?
The chair. Oh, I did say the chair can do stairs. God,
Yeah, it's a hover round.
Nah,
Yeah.
I just can't do
you're
drops.
sliding down. the entire way. And when you meet this landing, you see that you appear to be inside of some little bit of a farmland behind the castle itself that has troops currently all organizing, battling out here, and, well, wait, not battling, sparring with one another, practicing, doing drills. There appears to be a good 120, 130 active soldiers, elven, human, half-elves, halflings, gnomes, all variety of walks of life seem to persist here in, well, a very honestly welcoming manner and nice change of pace for some of you as well.
I'll ask the guard. Hey, lad, are you guys preparing for war?
We are, yes.
Who are you going to war with?
We are the forward operating base set to receive all of the troops of Tal'Dorei and her alliances against the Empire.
That is a good war to fight.
So you would be fighting against the Empire?
Yes.
Oh?
The Empire's
That is why Lady Derola would like to meet all of you personally. As we've heard that at least a couple of you have been within the Empire for periods of time.
Mm-hmm. Understood.
Just a precaution. I'm sure you have nothing to hide. And they continue walking with you out over towards this large, beautiful, old Victorian-style castle that, to date, I don't think any of you have seen an actual castle. Everywhere you've lived has had large municipal buildings or large homes, estates, but not a castle. Except, of course, Sinclair, where you came from, there were castles. But it is a beautiful piece of architecture that Fordrum can immediately discern has withstood a good 300 or 400 years of persistence. And it looks strong through all of that. Not very well not recently renovated at all. It's old and has persisted through that time.
Right. Pretty.
So you walk through over towards the primary estate itself, Castle Whitestone, where you see that there are more of these large guards that have the same makeup of armament and weaponry. They open the doors as all of you pass through, and you are met in a foyer with a short individual compared to a lot of the other humans you've seen in this area, but very fit, clearly athletic underneath his medium-style armor that he is wearing. He seems to be leaning against a longsword on his side with two hands as he looks and begins analyzing all of you. Alrighty, welcome all of you. I am the captain of this estate. You may call me Scars.
Well met, Scott.
We are going... Well met. We are going to be doing a thorough search of your persons to ensure you are not bringing anything potentially lethal or dangerous into the court of Lady Vaxal.
That's perfectly reasonable.
Would that require me to remove my mask?
Is your mask significant to you in a religious or spiritual manner?
Yes.
Then you may not have it removed from you.
Thank you.
We believe in freedom of religion in this country.
I take my axe off and set it on the table.
Thank you. And two guards will come over and, well, police style, start patting all of you down, trying to find any weapons you guys have on your
I
person.
pull
Okay.
out another hand axe. Pardon me, lad. Here.
I just put my bladeless hilt on the table.
Yeah. Onel, are you trying to do something?
They find,
Sneaky or
they
anything?
pull off the 3 daggers I have on a bandolero across my chest. There was one in each boot and a couple in the belt behind my back, including a short sword and a short bow.
And all of the
Yeah.
arrows.
All I've really got is the arrows, the bow, the dagger, and the longsword.
I'm just gonna put my staff and my book on top of my chair and then get out of the chair.
Oh, and a couple of bottles
It's-
of alchemist fire.
Thank you for not bringing a throne into the throne room.
I figured that would be very poor taste. So
Wearing white on a fucking
Yeah.
wedding day. Yeah, like that's. Anyways, they conduct their analysis on each of you, remove all of your personal effects, put them on the table.
Got a polishing rag
the
from my
cat-
smithing tools and suddenly give my holy symbol a little rub down real quick, get it nice and shiny.
And Scars will smile. I will personally attend to watching over your equipment for all of you adventurers. I assure you nothing will happen to them. Please, down the hallway with your guards.
Thank you.
The two original guards continue escorting you, and this old estate, as large as it appeared on the outside, you feel like it's almost expanding around you as you were walking through. The flooring in here has square sequence tiles that go from a soft, very light, almost white gray over into a darker yet more vibrant yellow, close to a dark gold color as you are passing through. You see these magnificent portraits, each one costing more than presumably an entire home in many other places of the world that you've been through, of this magnificent family, this human man and this half-elven woman with generations of different children coming in between the two of them. Roughly about 6 kids in total across the two. There appears to be other members of this said family that are into the portraits as well, that all of them are labeled with the different names of who they are and how they are associated with this family. And you can see over a decade, or sorry, over 100 years of this relationship persisting, with the human growing far older and then the half-elven woman growing a little more gray through all of the time. You come over to a very large room that has a single man standing in front of it. This man is wearing a purple vest that definitely does not seem appropriate for the season at hand. He sits with his hand on a rapier by his side that looks far too pristine to ever have been truly used, and stands at 2 foot 10 inches tall. Argon, you would be the only person in this entire group who would immediately recognize Scanlan Shorthold.
okay. I'm not talking because we were told not to talk. So I'm not telling anyone.
The individual walks over to all of you and will stick his hand out to the first, whoever is walking in the front.
I would probably be the one in the front.
He extends his hand all the way up to you.
I return the gesture.
Scanlan Shorthold. But I'm sure you already knew that. How are you?
I am wonderful, and it is an absolute honor to meet you.
Of course. All of you are the adventurers from Wildemount?
Yes. That would be us.
Starts walking around you, arms crossed, analyzing each of you. Even Fordrum, he only comes up to about halfway your stomach as he's looking at you. Just making sure none of you are going to try to mess with my girl, Vexalia.
No.
Wouldn't dream of it.
Good. Because I got my eyes on you guys. Precisely.
He'll get the hounds
nods his-
too.
Yeah, he nods his head, and the double doors are opened up for you all yet again. There's a lot of fucking doors in this place, and there's stationed guards for those doors.
It's to keep the draft out.
The door opens up, and you see before you a large dining hall filled with this magnificent food on a table that stretches down to easily seat 50 plus people at it. At the head of this table sits a half-elven woman with dark black hair that's beginning to gray at a exponential rate. Though she has a few crow's feet associated with her eyes and smile lines around her cheeks, you can see a youthful beauty behind this, well, subtle aging that she has been experiencing through this era. There appears to be a large blue feather and then 2 black raven feathers in her hair as all of you are approaching. And she stands up from the seat and smiles. Hello, all of you. My name is Lady Vexalia de Rolo. It is a pleasure to have all of you here in my estate. Please sit down, help yourselves to whatever food you fancy the most. If you don't see something on the table that you like, please don't hesitate to ask the wait staff for whatever you are into.
Corvus just gestures that we all should just do exactly as she says there.
Sit down, but I'm going to wait to grab food until I see how Corvus does it.
Corvus isn't exactly hungry. He's kind of a little bit scared out of his mind because, holy shit, these are 2 of the most influential people on the planet.
Here, have some liquid courage.
Yes, although it is, well, early morning for all of us, I believe it was evening time for all of you where you just left from, correct?
Early evening, I believe.
If you would like
Correct.
an early nip, then we have plenty of different things in our cellar that may be to your fancy. Anything you would like, by all means, partake.
Are there like
What?
beers?
Anything you would like, sir.
Ale for me.
Do you have a preference?
Brown, cold,
Strong.
whatever is something of the castle, local, perhaps.
She nods, and one of the waiters backs away and goes to handle that. You see, now directly to her right, a chair is pulled out, and you didn't see him walk over here, but he climbs up into the high chair to sit at the table with all of you, scanning.
Mhm. I'm looking at her to see if she has any holy symbol on her.
Roll me a religion check.
Oh, Lord. I'm so good at those.
5. If she does, she's not doning it publicly.
I just saw the raven feathers and I wondered, like,
Maybe.
Yeah.
But they're also really fashionable.
Yeah, like,
So,
I'm just scanning the room.
for what? Just in general?
In general,
All right, roll me a perception check.
are there meats on the table?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't wait any longer. Corvus is taking too long to.
I'm gonna eat something that's specifically Tal'Dorian, since I'm assuming I haven't had any of it in a while. Something that's
Oh,
really
absolutely.
specific to the continent.
So you look in front of you, and this is a banquet style feast, which means what you see presented in front of you is the stuff that they can prepare, set on the table, and people can partake in as needed. But there's also hints of things that you can specifically request from the kitchen that they would have prepared based upon this. There is a large platter that has what you could presume as local turkey that has been gutted, glazed, everything else like that, displayed beautifully there. But looking at the different herbs and everything else in this area, it would remind you that Plains cow is the most sought after meat from Tal'Dorei, and the ribeyes from it can fill a Goliath.
Corvus just starts, taking a couple of vegetables just to, be polite.
And 24 Sinclair, the ceiling in this room, when you look up to it, you can tell is arched slightly with these large pane glass windows on the far wall itself that has what appears to be a beautiful mural of the whole de Rolo family from this estate. imbued into it. The ceiling stretches up about 45 feet into the air itself, and you notice that there's actually a second landing balcony. And although she has 2 personal guards on either side of her, Scanlan beside her as well, and there's 2 guards at the exit, there's also a line of guards around the perimeter of that second landing up there. Probably a good 10 or 15 of them just watching you all.
Yeah,
Not armed and at the ready, just watching.
so O'Neill was spending his time casing, just kind of looking around for ways of in, out, and potential threats.
I just nudge him and go in
Survival.
lizard folk speech. Say, be on your best behavior, because the ceiling has eyes.
Survival check, O'Neill.
Survival.
Bottom of the skills list.
From what you can see, if you could make it up to that second balcony, you could technically go over to that pane glass window and escape through that if it's not made out of dwarven glass. There's also the door behind you that you could escape through, and you're willing to bet behind any number of these tapestries there might be secret doors leading to other places. You can see there's at least one tapestry itself that has the cooks and staff walking in and out from behind it, which would suggest probably the kitchen is led through there, but the door is hidden with these large draping tapestries.
Okay.
So, all of you wish to come here, and I decided to allow you through. I would like to ask what all of you intend to do now that you are in Tal'Dorei, and who are you all associated with?
Well, I am Corvus Asteroth, a lesser scion of the Empire. I come on no official business, of course, but we simply come on a quest of sorts. There's a young man who we were tasked with finding, and we had reason.
Go ahead.
We had reason to believe he had been coming this way towards Vasselheim.
A young man, you say? Well, I am very
Relatively
curious as
young.
to who.
A dwarf.
Who is this individual? A dwarf.
Yes.
In Whitestone, going to Vasselheim.
Coming from the Graying Wildlands. He's been making a rather long trip.
She looks over at Scanlan, who smiles and points his finger up at her, and they seem to be having a quiet communication right now. Now, you have to understand the predicament I'm in as one of the personal defenders of Tal'Dorei, let alone Whitestone herself. Accepting somebody so closely aligned to the crown of the Empire. Why is it that I should trust you all here?
We make no effort to hide anything from you. We just wish to do a service to the young man's family, is all.
The Dust family.
The Dust family.
I'm unfamiliar with them.
They're a family of honored smiths of great skill in the north.
Fortune, remember, if you didn't have your family, even from Muthadern, you probably wouldn't know who the Dust family is
Yeah, I know.
either. Yeah, they're not world famous, though they fucking should be. She'll look down. Scanlan, do you know this Dust family by any chance? I've heard about them, yeah. Apparently they make some really incredible weapons, some really incredible armor as well. Though they haven't taken any recent commissions, at least in the past, 50 years or so. that I've been able to hear about.
They recently did one a couple weeks back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they made a friend of ours a nice set of dragon skin armor.
Just gonna smack Sinclair under the table. You're not supposed to talk. Corvus only. Zip it.
They're going to war with the Empire, and our voice is the Empire.
And in order to do so,
She chuckles at the end of the table. Reminds me of us, right? A little bit. Though none of them are nearly as good looking as the two of us.
Onel bristles a little bit.
Time has that feature on some.
Anyways, you will have to be monitored while you're here in Whitestone. Unless, of course, you are willing to participate in our side of things. There's no anticipation for you to betray your crown, of course. Though we cannot possibly allow you to have free reign or roaming over any of the important areas here, just in case any of the information can leak out of you back to your crown. I'm sure you understand.
Oh, yes, quite. You mentioned participation in what? Might I ask?
Participation?
You mentioned?
If you're interested in joining our side in the war. Again, no anticipation.
This is a matter that I won't exactly force my companions to side with me on, but the Empire being my home, I would be reluctant.
Your two friends here appear to be brimming with the possibility of speaking to us right now. You're more than welcome to open your mouths. We don't take your tongues unless you're disrespectful here.
I don't tell them whether or not she's kidding.
And she's looking at Argon and Fordrum, who look like they are, like, out of everybody in this room, probably the most, like, okay, we're totally not talking right now.
Mm-hmm.
I just keep looking back at Fortune because I don't want to get smacked.
Lady, should war break out here, I won't speak for others, but for myself, I would lend assistance for sure. I can heal. I can create. I'm a good smith. I'd be fine with assisting. But we have pledged our assistance to this Dwarven family, so our real goal is to attend to what we're hoping to do. And try and be as out of the way and you know, as possible, really.
As for me, I'm not associated with the Empire other than through Corvus, as he is one of our traveling companions. I am from Marquette, not of this age. And if war does break out, I can aid in the relocation of folks, as I have the ability to use gate.
She looks down at Scanlan. Gate. Is that the one Pike used to use? Yeah, she used it a couple of times. Huh? You're capable of casting magics of that caliber, and yet I've heard next to nothing about all of your adventures. What is it that all of you have been capable of performing? I'm sure you've done something magnificent, and my friend here at the minimum would probably love to write a sonnet about any legendary heroism.
Well, I don't know about legendary heroism, but to risk the chance of some slight immodesty, we did have a run-in with a dragon.
So have I.
Recently, we solved a case on a missing valuable gemstone.
So no legendary. I mean, dragon. Kudos. Dragons are fairly difficult to handle.
We've dealt with a primordial entity.
We've broached into dealing with a primordial entity.
Well, I was talking about the one that tried to consume you.
Oh,
in
yes,
water.
that one. Forgot about him.
The sister.
Since Argon is all intelligence and no common sense, he's not going to realize that he shouldn't mention the fact that Fordrum reforged Craven's Edge.
And since Fordrum is no intelligence and all wisdom, he's keeping his mouth full of food.
Because that's the most notable thing we've done.
I've
So does Argon say that out loud?
Yes.
yes, they also commissioned that as well.
Corvus just
I'm
looks like,
sorry.
fuck.
I'm sorry, you've done what?
Well, the family we're on a job for are the caretakers of the divine reliquary. They
Divine.
legendary weapons and things of that sense.
I am fully aware of what Craven's Edge is.
It's more primordial than divine, yes, I will give you that.
It is more decrepit than anything else. It is a raw, disgusting blade that defiles the wielders of it.
Well, that information didn't exactly sit well with us either. However, a former friend of ours who currently carries the blade had a rather steep incentive.
It was to save his soul.
Dealing in souls.
Well,
It was more freeing of a soul.
She looks at Scanlan, who seems to be watching all of you much more closely now. Question, where is that blade now? Scanlan speaks up.
Not specifically sure.
Generally? Close guesstimation.
Likely still within the Graying Wildlands, but
More than likely in the possession of my benefactor.
Darling, and who is your benefactor?
has my ale arrived?
Yes.
I just drank it. I gotta get this down before we're throwing it.
Corvus quickly requests a glass
Delilah?
of wine just because he knows he's gonna need it.
Lady
Dig the
Delilah.
hole deeper.
What? And her very well demeanored position at this table immediately drops. And she has a much more assertive and dominant look on her face now.
That's a different
That's unexpected.
reaction than I've gotten in the past when I've mentioned her name.
Yeah, it's typically a mixture of who and I don't know.
Even the all-knowing one didn't know who she was. But then again, he's crazier than a pile of bricks half the time anyway.
We need you to be very specific about the next words you use inside of my home. How does Delilah have any influence and is alive?
Well, some time ago, in a time of rather great duress for our group, the same friend who currently wields the sword and I were being chased by a cult of sorts. I'm not exactly intimately familiar with the details, as my friend was always a tad evasive on the specifics of the matter, but he made a rather impromptu deal of sorts with trying to think of a word for this.
A voice.
A voice, yes.
Entity.
Disembodied.
Continue. Now.
Within minutes, he quickly found that she had given him the power to stop one of our assailants' hearts, which most of us took as a ill sign, though he wouldn't exactly hear of it.
And in the regards of my interaction with her, she sought me out in Avernus and told me that she could help me find my wife, who had been taken prisoner during the Great Marquesian War of, and I list the era.
The deceitful cow. How is she alive, Scanlan? I slayed her myself. I don't know.
She had a full body when I saw her.
We are gonna have to have a conversation with her, Vexalia? Right.
If you killed her, she probably made a deal with one of the archlords of Avernus.
Of course she would. Such a weak-willed individual, always relying off of the generosity of others in order to prosper. That swine. Scanlan, have they lied about anything thus far? Not a single thing.
I can't lie.
If I might be so bold, what exactly is so monstrous about this woman? As I said, we've been mostly in the dark about her, and
well, you're in the location where she made the name Lady Briarwood famous. Back, 120 years ago or so, she and her husband, Silas, came here, slaying most of the Derolo family, leaving just 2 children alive amongst all of them, Cassandra and my late beloved Percival. They took over the town, and it wasn't for a few years or so that I was able to, well, me and the rest of Vox Machina, gather up, infiltrate back in it, and slay all of them. After killing her and her husband once, she came back, and she was a servant to Vecna.
Was this husband Silas?
Yes, it was.
The reason she wanted Craven's Edge was to bring his soul back from the blade. I wish to be upfront and honest with you.
Scanlan, you need to send whatever shit you have available right now into the Graying Wildlands. Yep, I'm already sending them. Ignorance of this world. It's not your fault you weren't educated on, some of the most climactic details of our entire existence. That propaganda state of yours, always trying to hide and inhibit information from being open and flowing, when it does nothing except assist everybody in keeping the world safe.
Well, up until a month ago, I was in Avernus for over an age.
Right. I'm sure you have many different tales about all of that, but
in our defense, we did try to look into the sword in some weak attempt to try to understand what she might want with it, but the information we had found cut out rather abruptly just before that time frame. As if it had been
Scrubbed.
of course.
Even the Cobalt Soul didn't have anything on it.
The Cobalt what?
They're
an order of scholars within.
They're the ones that
Wow.
sent us here.
Oh, yes, them.
and to be fair, I'm not.
Did we give them access to our teleportation circle in the first place, Skip?
And we didn't even really.
The cooking
We
recipe.
didn't even really teach this much in the Lyceum.
Vexalia shoots daggers in your direction, Fortune, while Scanlan smirks.
I'm just sorry, lady. I apologize. I just can't imagine what kind of recipe for cookies that must have been.
She leans forward towards you. Snickerdoodles.
I've never heard that word before, but that sounds amazing. Sure.
Well, you can try them in town. She leans backwards in the chair. Well, it seems that all of you have done what every adventuring group ever always manages to do. Screw things up royally. Now, are you going to take responsibility for your actions at some point in time?
Knowing what we do now, it's certainly looking likely.
Good.
I fulfilled my end of the original obligation that I had to her. So, yes. If she is intended to do harm with the object must be destroyed. Or
Delilah is a snake that slithers her way into whatever vessel will house her, will keep her safe and do her bidding, that can be easily manipulated or controlled.
Yeah, that part I had caught.
that's Jasper in a nutshell.
I give Sinclair
I
a light
assure you.
smack along the back of the head. Is it light?
A light Corvus is like a strong arm.
Yeah. I have no strength.
I have all strength.
Anyways. This is a problem that we are going to have to address now. And you know what? We'll help you with meeting the individual you are questioning. I think I already know who he is. He's been staying here in our castle.
Is that so?
Yes. On one condition. You either A, be our spies in the Empire after you are done your dust business, or B, you right the wrong of bringing Silas and Vexalia and Delilah to our world again. I want their heads on platters. And I want to hang them from my chandeliers. Yes, those ones.
It would ruin the decor, though. You might want to taxidermy them first.
She gives you another glare, Sinclair. Scanlan will stand up. Well, everybody, I think we've had a fantastic dinner. Don't feel obligated to jump on board with any of this quite yet. We're going to take a walk, and all of you enjoy your supper. Guards, watch them, please. They're not allowed to leave the room unless they're going to town, and then you escort them. Okay? Vexalia, please, let's leave. And he starts taking her hand, and the two of them slowly eject from the room.
I know Argon speaks lizard folk, correct?
No. I speak
No.
Draconic.
Yeah,
I
Draconic.
also speak Draconic.
Okay.
Everybody but Fortune does. I wouldn't count that on hiding anything here.
No. But I do think you need to know a pertinent bit of information about the guy we're about to start questioning.
So, you all were given yourselves a little bit of privacy here in the Dorolo estate, the Whitestone Castle, though you still have guards watching you from afar while you are here eating and drinking.
I just tap Forgem on the shoulder, giving him tongues. And in Draconic, I say, so that could have gone a lot better. Also, the individual, from the information I gleaned from my contact, is he works for a devil. We just don't know which yet. As the individual he was speaking about is one of the more well-known devils of hell. So,
That was so cryptic. Me as the GM couldn't even follow what the hell you were
well,
saying.
remember the name that we all got from the what was her name? The one that translated as the one that's cast out.
Iblis. Okay.
Basically, from what I gathered from my contact, is he's gone ahead and contacted his mistress, and her and my benefactor in hell are investigating on why. But supposedly, this individual has fiendish contacts. So I just wanted you to know this before we move forward. At least we have a Last Supper. They didn't take our heads.
Yet. At least now I know why you were only supposed to be the one that talked, Corvus.
When they said they were going to war with the Empire, I don't know if that.
Trust me. Me, and you, Sinclair, did far more damage than Corvus ever could have.
Yep. By a lot.
Far more damage than Corvus ever could have. He could have declared himself the personal son of the Emperor and done less damage than me and you did.
Jesus Christ, no. He doesn't even exist in this world.
No one ever
Close.
reacts about her name in that manner.
I didn't say we were to blame or that we knew we were doing it. I'm just saying we're the ones that did the damage. Argon researched it heavily and nowhere turned up the truth of, I know the truth, which is why I was chomping at the bit to say it, but Argon didn't know, or Argon never would have said it that way.
Right. No, you did the proper thing. Like, you did nothing wrong. Yeah. It's just, well, I mean, circumstances are wrong. You know,
you didn't know, Sinclair, the history any more than Argon did. Argon probably should have, but he didn't.
Hell, I'm still learning what the hell the Empire is, and all I hear is bad things.
But it has nothing to do with the Empire.
Yep.
Yeah, this is
What all just transpired?
Yeah.
this is a wholly separate can of worms.
But like, even the god of knowledge didn't know who this guy was or this lady was.
That's because this person is
God of
very
knowledge.
personable. This person is very personable to her.
Well, the crazy dude in one of y'all's heads.
No.
Oh, he's not the god of knowledge. He's the god of time.
Oh,
Time doesn't know all.
Boy, is that the truth.
So, yeah, and like I said, this was a very personal thing with her.
oh. Yeah, I'm terrible with social
Nope.
cues.
Don't worry, that's D&D. So, anyways, you guys have your privacy.
Yeah, so
I just
screwed the
figured.
pooch on that one. So
Yeah. I just figured I'd let y'all know about the info that I gained from our little friend at the shop.
yeah, well, saying that you regularly talk about all the demons that you work for, the fact that he has devil contacts really doesn't concern me, to be completely fair. I mean, it's good to know, don't get me wrong.
I don't even know what a devil contact would be like.
Where
It just seems like
Well,
Yeah.
you've bought for one from a couple times, so
we've what?
we've bought from some.
Bought from devils. Huh.
Remember the shop? The
Mhm.
Invisible
Yeah.
Friend?
Imp shop?
Yeah,
Where we bought the things? Huh.
yeah.
Can't imagine it would be any more stringent than my normal contracts.
No. But if my contact's mistress doesn't employ him and mine doesn't employ him, doesn't leave a lot of leaders that he could work for that are good to work for.
See, now you're proving my point. You keep talking about the one you work for. I'm not seeing any giant difference between you and him at the same point, Sinclair. But regardless,
I'm trying to fix that problem.
regardless, we need to get him for the Dust family. And that's the only reason we care about him. So, but once we do that, we need to figure out what's next. I'm assuming you don't want to spy for the Empire, Corvus, regardless of personal feelings about their current politics. So righting the ship is our only real option.
Yeah, I also have no interest in being involved in the political issues of the Scaleless.
Yeah. Like, I'm trying to fix the issue of me working for a devil. That requires me learning
So-
more about y'all's faith system up here,
Probably should have
or
mentioned-
primordial beings up here.
What were we saying?
Probably should have mentioned that you needed to get some freedom from a devil. We could have taken up that task easier than this thing.
I thought
Well,
I did
from
with the
my 2
whole
cents,
Archon.
What were we saying?
for my 2 cents, I would take upon myself the interest. I'm interested in destroying that sword now. Take back the error that was made.
It'll be easier to put it in the vault than it would to destroy. Like I said, in order to destroy a blade of that caliber, even the great fires of Avernus wouldn't be hot enough.
We can kill the two and return the sword to her and let her decide whether to destroy it or lock it in a vault. But
We already know what fires can reforge it. So Avernus seems like a field trip we don't have to take. And fortunately, this returning of the Dust Kid at least opens a door for us to have access. I mean, we're allowed to use their forge to forge you a blade should we go back and succeed at this.
So, I mean, what's the plan with the kid here? Are we assuming he's willingly going to
Oh,
go
no.
with us?
Oh God, no! He's
Are
being
we-
controlled by something.
Are we going to stuff him in a sack and haul him back, or What's
It's possible. He's being controlled by something potentially. So how do you remove that, Sinclair?
lead
Either
bottle?
kill the thing that is keeping him controlled, or very high level magic that I don't have access to. I am not a clergyman of that caliber.
Is it a curse? Is it what controls someone like that?
It would be either.
Arcana check, please.
Can I make one
I'll
too?
assist.
Yep.
Oh, I get assist.
Well,
Yeah, I'll assist on that.
I think only 2 people can make checks or can interact with the check at a time. So that would mean Sinclair's making one. Argan called out first that he wants to make one, so you can't really assist when 2 people are already
Copy.
doing it.
No problem.
Jesus.
I'm used to be at 19.
18.
I was thinking guys.
So this is something that has presumably been going on for multiple years, which means this extends past just a single spell that would influence somebody or control them. Probably some type of powerful manipulation, maybe some pact, something along those chords.
Yeah,
could possibly do it.
So how do you break a pact? Do either of you know?
I'm not sure I know my own
See-
name at this point.
That would be a religion
Yeah.
check.
I completely appreciate that you don't know how to deal with.
nope. I'm still trying to break a pack, so
Argan, religion.
No,
I'll
oh,
assist.
thank God.
You're not proficient. See, you're so much better when you're not proficient.
God.
it's like night and day with me and him.
Generally, you either have to buy it out.
The
I'm
same
assuming.
rolls. You buy it out. You fulfill the pact. You transfer the pact, or you permanently destroy the entity causing the pact. But again, that's assuming there's a pact.
Yeah, if it's a pact, there's one avenue. If it's a overtime like spell or possession, like y'all said y'all had a mask that
Yeah.
would allow someone to control someone.
Yeah.
If there's another magical object on his person, that would also maintain the bonding of him to the entity.
We don't
Or-
know that he's possessed. He could have just decided, screw these guys, I'm going to take a bunch of valuable stuff and run away.
Well, remember, we found out that he hid his, like he was found unconscious in the cave at one point,
As a child.
and after that, his mentality shifted.
After several
Years.
years, his mentality shifted. And that is when they started noticing these changes in him. And Sinclair was correct last week when he brought this up and everybody seemed to forgot. He seemed to be talking to either somebody who wasn't there at all in the room or somebody who deliberately sat out of sight of any scrying or anything else like that and did not get interacted with anybody else. Sinclair pointed out last week and everybody seemed to forget it.
Yeah.
That is why he's thinking there's some type of influence control there.
He's got a benefactor that is leading him down this path.
Could his benefactor be the same as who we have offended by speaking about?
That was about, I think she said 20 years ago or so.
I don't know. I
'Cause to me,
don't
that
know
would
why
make-
she would
she would
send
because
us to them.
because she needed the sword reforged, so she needed the plans for it. He might have been a good choice for trying to succeed, and we were just a second attempt or another attempt at trying to succeed the
And
same.
maybe the
task.
stolen documents gave her the means to create a manual. Possibly. It's possible.
May have been stolen just so that she would have an idea of where to look for it.
True. Because he
Or
took
he's-
documents regarding that blade and many others. So, God only. Oh, no. What if she tries to make other weapons?
We don't know that any of the other ones were destroyed.
No, but it.
You guys know literally nothing about all the other weapons. but,
Yeah.
I mean, it's
We know that they were stolen. The reference material was stolen about them.
Yes.
So
I think it's
she
bigger
has
than
knowledge. Yeah, she has knowledge of other legendary weapons. She may be arming up to seek revenge for the murder of her husband. And we will need to figure out which side of that that shit fan that we wish to be on.
I don't think that's no.
I'm really sure that's a debate.
That's not a debate. We're on the side that's not the Dahlia side or Delilah side.
And out of character, did anybody need clarification on the event with Vecna?
I have no idea.
Nah, I like not knowing.
Anybody?
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
I'm the same mindset. I don't mind not knowing because my character doesn't know.
It's one of the most important events in recent history in your world.
It was kind of like a World War II scenario thing, so it would be at least
Yeah.
somewhat known.
Well, some of them lived in propaganda states. Sinclair has a complete excuse
Yeah.
not to know anything about it. And Forgem lived north of the propaganda state outside of everything else. So like it's reasonable if he's cool not, then it's good. But if the other three who would have been around the territories to learn shit about it want to already know that information, you're good. You can know that information about Vecna.
I don't, so I think it's just going to be easier this way.
You lived in the propaganda state. Yeah.
I imagine I know enough personally to get by. So.
But you as Tim.
Yes,
you-
I as Tim. That's what I mean.
Good.
I as Tim.
Then
know.
you decide how much you're
Yeah.
good with, and I'm just making sure you have the information available.
He's a
I know-
scholar anyway.
I know more than Argan did, evidently, based upon
Yeah,
what
well,
he's
more.
based upon what he's done. So
So
It would have been nice to know more research existed, but seeing as they scrubbed this woman out of
well, we
existence.
were also on the wrong continent. Had we gone to the Lyceum or somewhere over here and researched it, we probably would have found all this information pretty easily. Now we didn't know that at the time, but we were on the wrong continent. So
I was going to ask one of the guards: is the lady here of faith?
Lady Vexalia does not speak of any specific religions openly to the
Ah.
public.
Just wondered.
What's the religion of Whitestone?
I
Oh,
don't have a state religion.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's what he said.
Our dominant religion is to that of the Dawnfather.
Ah,
Though we have many different subsects here associated with the Queen of Ravens, associated with the Dawn Mother, the Wild Mother, as well as associated with shit, I completely forgot her name.
Argan
The Lady of White.
Serenray.
Sarah.
Argan wouldn't know the exact details for her, but he would know that her brother was heavily involved with the Raven Queen.
If you want to tell him.
Well, that's as much as Argan would probably know, is that her brother Vex was very tied in with the Raven Queen. I obviously didn't study Vox Machina as part of my education very heavily, so I only know that much. So
is he here?
no, I know he died more
Oh.
than once. And I think that was how he got involved with the Raven Queen.
Got it.
Question for you, Argan.
Hate when that happens.
Do you think?
Yeah, right.
Because they said that they killed Silas and her. Do you think that was when the sundering of the blade happened?
I know that a member of Vox Machina wielded the blade at one point. My guess would be they took it when they killed them.
Are you guys discussing this in Draconic
Yes.
still? Okay.
Or at least I have been.
Nope.
All right.
I just keep speaking and it comes out in some other language or something.
Oh, everybody understands what you're saying
Yeah.
right now.
Thankfully, you're not saying anything too useful.
Right.
From up top, you hear a voice go, it was destroyed afterwards.
See, somebody up there knew something.
You all see this young, actually no, at this age, middle-aged human man, maybe late 30s, early 40s. His hair has natural gray inside of it and strong black locks and big giant bifocals on his face, and very pristine looking clothing. But he looks uncomfortable.
And you
in
said he said what? It was the blade?
It was destroyed after.
After. Okay.
By whom, lad?
Vox Machina, sir.
And
Thank
they
you.
are
The group that
The legendary heroes and fable of this
the
world.
group
The ones who slayed Vecna, destroyed the Chroma Conclave.
I'll give you a hint. We just spoke to two of them.
Oh.
The single greatest adventurers this world had ever seen. Yes, my mother's one of them.
Well, you're a lucky man.
Greg?
Orvis's eyes just bulge out of his
fuck.
fucking head.
Oh, don't worry. I'm learning to take over after her.
Good.
If the Empire does fall and you rise to leadership, can I interest you in a peace treaty and pact?
If that happens, sure.
I'll hold you to it.
I'm
So
sure
will
you
I.
could.
That's what we call a diplomatic pact.
Yup. What happens if you forfeit it?
Death. Despair.
Oh,
Famine.
gosh.
Pestilence.
All right, so we've spent plenty of time discussing how we've screwed the pooch. What are we doing next?
Trying not to screw it further.
I don't know that we could.
All right, so let's
Oh,
It
we
sounds
can
like
find
a
a way.
challenge.
let's simplify. Let's imagine that the sun is here. How do we deal with that?
They're probably
Son
not.
of
They're
the
probably
Dust
not.
family is
They're
here.
probably not going to let us take him by force.
Okay. Good start. Anyone else?
From what I remember, they mostly wanted the information back to a higher level than they wanted him back.
I just look over at O'Neill suddenly like, oh. Okay.
That's what I remember. Is they said that,
That
if all
does
else
sound
fails,
right.
they
Yeah.
wanted the papers back.
He is
Yeah,
correct.
I know
Yep.
that.
So maybe if we can get the papers,
Yep. Then the
Uh,
computation doesn't
I
necessarily.
feel like we should still at least try to get him as well.
I don't
Though-
disagree.
To what end? I think
I don't think they want him dead.
to what end? Right. I don't think they want him dead. To negotiate with him? Is that what you're saying, Corvus? To
At least find out why he did it, maybe.
Yeah. But at the very least, some sense of closure for the family as to why he would do this to them.
Let him know that Mama's more than willing to let him come back. You just bring back the papers.
if we retrieved the papers before confrontation, what then? Do we also confront before we return the papers? Or do we do it as two pieces? One is retrieve the papers, return them. Then approach the son and ask him why he did it?
If we were able to obtain the papers, I think we need to send them back as quickly as possible.
fair. Anyone else?
Well, I mean, there's twofold of things we could do. We know from the scrying that he is part of a group of people. We also know that scrying is done easier when it's on something that we are very familiar with. So potentially, even though we can scry on him a little bit, we could plant something that is going to be wherever the important things are going to be and scry on that specifically to get the information. And we can steal the papers, potentially forge a copy with some misalignment on there so they're not correct, and get them.
No.
But I would say we let him go where he needs to go with our plant for us so we can see what we're dealing with.
Okay, let me ask another question then. If you were him, would you be suspect if a dwarf like me showed up in this town?
I mean,
don't-
just any dwarf?
Well, no, a dwarf like me.
I don't see why he would.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just
You-
wondering if, because up until now, and mind you, we've been here for just minutes, and we're in a castle filled with military and such, I haven't really seen dwarves. I mean, there's been a couple, but the fashion and the look and the behaviors aren't like me.
I mean, unless you know of anything specific that would identify you to him.
Tal'Dorei is a big continent, and there's a lot of dwarves.
There are,
in
okay.
different places. So
Craghammer has a very large population of them, and that's in Northern Terrace as well. Argon,
Yeah.
for your
There's always the possibility we could use who he associates with, such as his religious order or his demonic contacts, if we wanted to go that route.
If he has a group, how bad would it be for one of, some of, or all of us to just join it until we have an opportunity to remove what we need?
I think me and O'Neill would have a good means to.
Well, that depends on how much word vomit we do. If it's anything like this first meeting with the, I
no.
would rather do this on my own.
it also depends entirely upon what kind of group he's in. Because we
Yes.
don't know the answer to that. We've seen them training. So
Yes.
somebody's raising their hand. Yes.
The young man up top is raising his hand now for all of you. Or sorry, young man up top.
Any chance you could just come down and join us?
Oh, my mother told me I have to stay up here and just listen to the conversation at hand. But a good leader does not just listen to instructions given to them. They also adapt to the situation that is unfolding in front of their eyes.
Adapt away, child, lad.
Freddy.
You speak Draconic, don't you?
Away, Freddy.
Yes, I do. I'm versed in 12 different languages.
Well done.
Ah, you're more well learned than I am.
Thank you. It comes with the nobility. Anyways, if I think I know who you all are discussing, and he's saying this in Draconic to all of you, and I think I do, and I think I'm piecing together certain things correctly. He works for the Slayer's Take. He's the number 2 in command at the Slayer's Take. Currently.
And that is what the Slayer's Take.
The largest mercenary group for hire in all of Exandria. They're over in
Is
Vassal.
the number one Sibyllus?
Sibyllus? I don't know that name.
Okay. Who's the number one?
Well, you said Sibyllus' name was
Iblis. Sorry, Iblis.
I don't know that name.
Who's the number one? Do you not know?
There is no number 1. He's tied for second in position over there.
Ah,
Yes.
Slayer's Take arranged with Slayer's Cake.
It was a funny name that my aunt thought was hilarious.
Oh.
mercenaries got to eat.
I mean,
No association.
Oh, okay.
It would
funny
explain
name.
why he's here training people. They're prepping for a war.
Yes, he came through to do a little favor to look at all of the troops and assist all of them.
That would make sense of the trial he talked about, if he's tied for number 2.
This is possible. Especially,
Yes, the Slayers Take is going to be having a trial implemented to see any new recruits that can join the ranks. They do this every 3 or 4 months or so.
do you know how one would sign up to be a participant in said trial?
You sign up either under one of the leaders or at the actual location in Vasselheim.
So there is a possibility where he could infiltrate it if we needed to.
Well, but the lady Vexalia already said that they would introduce us to him.
That's why I'm wondering if 2 of us should step away or
Oh,
change what we look like.
Go on, Freddy.
I could introduce you to him before she gets back.
Before she gets back, we can't leave the room.
Yes. Yes, you can, if I allow it.
Oh,
Oh.
dear.
Don't worry. I'm too old to get grounded anymore.
I don't believe a grounding would be what would happen, but sure.
that's not
You know, I
what
think
she
it'd
would
be a
do to
beheading
you
to
that we're
me.
immediately concerned with.
Well, are you ignoring the word of the noble of the house?
No, God, no.
There you go. Then if I say you're allowed to leave, then you're allowed to leave with me. I'll introduce you to him if you're interested in joining the Slayers Take. I can introduce you as that.
Or no?
I
Do you
suppose that
think-
would do.
It would be easier if we were inside.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't want to overstep. It's just listening to your conversation, and I'd rather help and make good allies for the future. I'm not a fighter like my mom and dad.
Very well.
Respectable.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And he goes over the balcony, grabs onto one of the tapestries, and slowly scoots his way down, attempting to make it look very badass. But it's mostly just awkward.
I have a nephew. that I
45
think
feet.
Probably.
Jeez.
Another one.
I have a nephew that I
And-
think would hang out with that kid.
I'm just
He
You have a
lands.
nephew that I know would hang out
gonna
with.
say I'm just readying Featherfall just in case he falls.
As he is approaching, 2 of the guards walk on either side of him, and he goes, sorry, good men. We're just having a nice conversation, and I'm going to make their introduction with Hedge. Your mother said they're not permitted to leave the room. Right, but I'm saying they are. You're not allowed to disobey me. This is going to be the 3rd time this month, sir. I am aware. You're aware she will revoke your allowance as well. I'll survive. Somehow. But yes, we're all going to leave. I'm going to make their introductions. Thank you. He pats the armored champion on his chest, and now that he's down here, he's roughly about 5'4", 5'5" or so. Very scrawny. Little bit of a baby face in him, and pays way too close of attention to how well he keeps his goatee groomed. Very well. Everybody, walk with me, please.
I'll follow him out.
Yeah.
Should we retrieve our weapons or just come unarmed?
I am never unarmed.
Technically, I'm not either.
Technically.
Shut up.
Oh my god.
Even now, Argon is finally starting to realize that maybe talking all the time is not the best solution.
No.
Hearing the kid's gonna lose his allowance, I want to slip 50 gold in his pocket.
Roll me a sleight of hand. You got to beat all of these guards that are watching you.
Yeah. Done.
What is their modifier? Let me see if it's even worth rolling. Fighting chance.
Please don't. Please don't.
10.
Someone got a 19.
None of them see. Said fighting chance. It's...
The chair.
You slip some gold into his pocket. Now, as you're all walking out of the dining hall, he immediately pivots over to a different hallway to the left and gestures, and the guards open it up for you. It's like, so the individual you were speaking of, Hedge, correct?
Sure.
All right. Yeah, cool. I'll introduce you to him. No problem. He always seems like such a nice guy, though. I guess you can't trust people just based off of, well, immediate impressions.
Oh, that's
No,
nothing
I
to say he's
suppose not.
not a nice guy.
Right. I have so much to learn about all of this. This is wonderful, and I rarely get to speak with people outside of Tal'Dorei as well. This is very good. And he walks with you down the hallway for a very long period of time, until he gets over to a door towards the middle of this hallway. Now, each of the doors that you've seen have been very large square doors that stretch about 30 feet between one door to another as you've been walking through this entire area. And he gets over to the one and knocks on it 3 times. Hey, not decent. What's up? Excuse me, Mr. Hedge. There's a group of inspiring, slayers that wish to join the take and apply underneath you. All right. Send them all in.
Didn't he just say he was indecent?
Yes, he did. He opens up the door after all of you.
Fuck it. I'll
Oh,
walk in.
boy.
I go last.
You walk in and you see a dwarven man in a large bathing basin with his feet up on the edges, widespread, currently scrubbing himself with a loofah on his back as he's leaning forward. Luckily, there's a tremendous amount of bubbles
thank
in here,
God.
so you don't see anything beneath the surface. Hey, how you all doing? And you see roughly this image of a man, though, where his beard is parted and to the sides, you see half of it is pink and the other half of it is black, both of which look very pointedly dyed, as the hair on top of his head appears to be a bright, a dull orange
Is this
color,
the same person that we saw in the image?
with a hell of a lot less clothing on, yes.
Yeah. Last time he didn't have his breastplate on.
So that didn't change.
Now it's in his birthday suit.
Welcome. So all of you are interested in becoming slayers, eh? Nice. What brings this inspiration on? He gives you a award-winning smile.
Well, you know, the general pursuit of thrills and monetary compensation, of course.
Mm-hmm. I'm aware of that one, boy. Yes.
O'Neill would like to just kind of case the room, see if there's any reference of the papers that we're looking for, anything similar.
Perception check. All right. And where all of you hail from, anyways?
Marquette.
Ooh, beautiful land over there. Like a lot of the spices.
I'm from here in Tal'Dorei.
Are ya? Nice.
I am from the Menagerie Coast.
Fancy boy, eh?
Usadern.
Uthodurn. Yeah. Lovely place. I've been up and around there once or twice.
Bumps.
Well met to each of you. O'Neill, you see over on the bed, there appears to be a large backpack that is stuffed to the brim with materials, but you can't make out any of the specific materials like falling out of it. If he was stupid, he would leave it in that. But you know, in these nice, very nice estates, there's usually places to hide things in the drawers, under the drawers, behind the furniture, in locked trunks, under the bed, other things like that. You count a total of about 7 different locations in this room where you would hide something. All right. Now, you realize to be a slayer, you got to be the best of the best of the best, right?
I feel like we could more than apply for that.
Really?
I just snap my finger and my
Even-
blade reappears at my hand.
Oh dear.
Another light smack
You-
goes to Sinclair.
You know that was real stupid, right?
The rest of us do.
I can make it disappear
I
entirely.
just scooch to the side away from him in case.
I just snap my fingers again. It just disappears entirely.
We don't leave a majority of the thinking to him specifically.
Yeah, I've met plenty of people like that before. It's alright. Usually they just need their screws tightened a little bit on them. Don't worry, that's my job.
And
I'm
mine,
more
but
muscle than tact.
Now, if I can make a recommendation, look at one of the tact or the other smart people and let them be your brain. Be their brawn. Anyways, yep, we're having a tournament. Another trial afoot next week, actually. But if all of you are interested to go underneath my sponsorship, I guess I could stay here another week or so and give you some tasks to prove your Slayer material.
I suppose that would be acceptable.
What's the biggest thing you ever killed?
Dragon?
Primordial.
Go. I heard 3 different things. What?
Dragon.
Primordial.
Points at you,
White
Forger?
dragon.
Points at Argan?
Dragon.
Onel?
I'm more of a procurer than a killer.
Eh, we need those too. So I guess you're some type of makeshift group then, right?
But
You're your own team.
more or less.
I mean, do you want to do the trial separately or be graded together?
I feel that we have come this far together. It might just. It stands to reason that we might as well ride that out.
All right. And he gives you a very warm, friendly smile. Just very wide. I like it. You know, takes a lot of gusto to come in here all the way up to Whitestone, especially from across the coast. Oh, fuck, it's so busy over there right now. And to demand a spot to train underneath me. I respect you for it.
Guts we have.
Oh, should I say it?
Guts we spill.
That too.
Seeing Forger shake his head, I'm not going to say what I was going to say.
Good call and assumption.
Everyone silently releases their breath that they didn't even know they were holding.
Just hold dispel magic at all times. Just.
Oh, no. It was,
Alrighty.
Hmm.
Well, I need to finish getting my nether regions, and I'm sure you don't want to be in here for all of that. No offense, I don't want you in here for that either.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
Why are you all so tense?
We're not used
We
to
met with the
cold.
lady of the house.
Oh, she's such a darling, isn't she?
Yes, I can see how she might be perceived that way when she's happy.
Oh, did you piss her off?
No, that was me.
He didn't make the best first impression.
I find that easy to believe.
Yes.
Iblis said the same thing.
What? I don't know who that is.
I was going to smack him anyways.
I need to go learn silence.
Yes, you do.
Well, we should leave you alone. We'll be in the dining hall when you are ready for us to do something.
Enjoy your nether regions.
I like you. I like you. You're a good one.
I put my hand on Argon to turn him around at that statement. Like, good.
And I do the same with Sinclair.
Yeah. Here we go. Here we go.
Oh, that guy's a funny one. And you're all escorted out of the room, and Freddy will smile at you all. That seemed to go very well.
It
did have gone worse than before.
Oh.
God damn. All right, so now I need to take that note down
Just
real
dig
quick.
that hole. Dig that hole.
Diggy, diggy hole. Are you the dwarf?
I would
Anyways.
so love to just go dig a hole right now. If there's somewhere that you need a hole, Argon, let me know. Digging a hole sounds so much more
Well, don't y'all have that platinum mine?
productive.
You all are brought back into the dining hall. Freddy climbs up to the top. We'll shout out to the guards. None of you tell my mother that he left.
Is she right behind him?
No.
Is your mother capable of knowing where people are at all times?
Only if she really takes an interest in you.
She really
screwed.
hates us.
Yeah, she. That's not a no.
There's no better tracker in all of Exandria.
That's not comforting.
Well, then we'll probably be
Pretty.
honest, Freddy, and I apologize for your, allowance.
Uh-oh. A few moments go by. The door opens back up. Lady Vexalia and Scanlan walk back in, seem to have composed themselves much better. Excuse me for my outburst earlier, everybody.
You were
We're
warned.
sorry.
You are more than warranted.
Yes. Very foul emotions come up when I... Anyways. I am taking back what I previously demanded of your group. I understand sometimes while out in the world, groups can frequently make mistakes. Now, if you would like to rectify it, you're more than welcome to. And you can work alongside us in order to do this. But we are not expecting you to do that.
Again, not obligating my group to anything I myself do, but knowing what I do now, I do believe that it would only be the right thing to do to aid in whatever way we can.
Scanley smiles. See, I told you. Fair enough. I'll get you your 100 gold. Anyways. Allow me to make your introduction to Hedge.
No need. Freddy did it for you.
Her eyes dart up to the top. You said you want to see the initiative taken more often.
Lady, can I speak for a moment, frankly?
Yes.
There's two pieces to all this that seem suspect to us, and they both, for our sake, revolve around Hedge.
Security, evacuate the room immediately. Freddy, you may stay. And all of the guards, including the upper level, all march out of the room.
Part one is Hedge is the missing son of this Dust family, the family that initially forged Craven's Edge, and the
And
family
has
that
since reforged it.
think Fordrum was still
And the family that has also created a number of other legendary weapons and armor, as we had been informed. He left the family while stealing weapon making secrets, and their want was to get the weapon making secrets back. As we've had our conversations here, and in light of your information about the person who shall remain unnamed again.
Appreciate
Yes.
it.
I have started to suspect that the family believed that he was being sort of manipulated by someone who was just a voice in his head, which was similar to the experience we had with the person who we were involved with. We were successful in accomplishing the reforging of this Craven's Edge. It stands to my assumption that what was stolen from that family was the secrets, or some of them, in how to make that weapon. So it might be that he has been manipulated by the same person in hopes of reforging that weapon. It's just a different path to accomplishing the same task, potentially. The Dust family asked us to come here, retrieve the papers and books and such that he had stolen, and returned it to them. Hopefully return him to them, but more importantly was the recipes for weapons and armor. I will pledge that I'm going to figure out, find, and again destroy this Craven's Edge somehow at some point. But I only bring it up because while I do understand his position, and after having met him for a moment, he does seem like a very personable guy. I don't know how taken with this voice he might really be, but I feel like that's a blank that we should have filled in for you, and we've just come across it in this time while you were out composing or whatever you were doing. So I thought it best to say that piece.
There's a possibility also that the name that should not be spoken isn't the voice.
There is, but if we have any reason to suspect that it is, then we need to be very cautious about everything that we do, everything that we say when in proximity of him. I've seen this man fight, hedge. He's a reasonable combatant, a powerful cleric at that. Delilah terrifies me without my companions by my side. She is far more dangerous the further in the shadows she is. And if he has nothing to do with her, then fine. But if you find out he has anything to do with her, first find out what it is, how they are connected, and then slay him. Delilah is not somebody that you give an inch to.
I know during our scrying of him, that's how we knew to come here, we uncovered the fact that one of the associates he mentioned was someone from Avernus, name of Iblis.
Never heard this name before, but I will keep an ear out for it. And some of your suspicion may be reasonable, Fordrum. Galdrick has smelled 2 scents on him at once. His own in a second.
Makes sense.
Are any of you capable of speaking to animals?
Through the art of tongues, I don't think that works. No.
Nope.
Fish specifically.
Reptiles,
Well,
me and Ornell would, but
Fortunate. Galdrick is difficult to speak to nowadays. He is the protector of a large portion of our land in the Greyfield.
Why is he difficult to speak to nowadays?
He and I are at odds
Oh,
right now.
I understood. I got it.
Yes. Though he is getting up there in age. I asked him if he would like to move to a different patrol, but he believes he should not leave the site he is appointed to.
and is Galdrick a animal of sorts?
Wolf. He is a wolf.
Would using tongues on an animal? No. Okay.
They lack the ability to speak.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, he did mention to me that while Hedge is alone and other people are away, a second smell moves in. Usually this would suggest something more powerful than a simple scrying. Something that connects an individual to them. Said the smell was brimmy.
Hmm. That confirms a couple of our ideas.
Yeah.
Are any of you exceptionally keen?
In what regard?
I'm assuming not you.
Perceptive, sure.
Yes, exceptionally so.
I have, and I tap on my mask, an augment that enhances my capabilities in that regard. Our more learned one, and I point to Argon, is our book smarts individual.
That's not what I'm questioning. I'm questioning any of you that are keen, a good eye, observant to the nature of everything around you.
I am somewhat good at this. It has kept me alive so far in some very dangerous situations.
A few of my personal guards have confirmed when he does not realize people are in his proximity that his happy demeanor drops and he becomes cold. Though I think he may be a little defensive and cautious around me and does not drop it ever.
Are you
If you happen to see this, please confirm it to me.
are you suggesting I tail him?
I suggest that you make him drop his guard and you notice. However that works for you, works for you. I'm used to people having different ways that they achieve similar goals.
That's doable.
Good. I hope everything that you are bringing to light here is something that we do not have to worry about even in the slightest.
Me too.
But in my experience, the worst case scenario is usually the scenario.
Also the best one to plan for.
You all will not be staying in my home.
Hi.
There's an inn in town. You all will be paying for that out of pocket, because I do not want you to be perceived as close to me. At all. I will send one of the cubs to retrieve any information from you that they can. They will come back to me. And bring it to my attention. Take good thorough notes on him. I want to know everything. Understood.
Very well. I will make sure to make the notes only viewable by yourself and me.
If you have that talent, I appreciate it.
Yep.
Why did I never learn that one? Scanlan scratches his face a little bit.
Not many people do.
She smirks. I think that was a challenge. I think it was too.
Even Argon doesn't have it. And he's Mr. Lyceum.
Yeah, we didn't really hide things like that.
Excuse me. You're a Lyceum.
Yeah, I'm the
Next time, tell me. I thought I was speaking to some nobody noble and a whole bunch of randoms.
Well, he did mention the Lyceum.
No, we never did. Not really.
Yes, you did. You
No,
did. You
no.
Oh, and no, he did not. He said Argon.
Yeah.
I took a note of that shit.
Well, no. He
And she looks at you.
He said, and I quote, when we researched it, it wasn't in the topics in the Lyceum.
He said that out of character
Oh.
as his stuff. Yeah. And she looks at you, Corvus. I apologize. I didn't mean nobody noble, but you're from a land foreign to this one, completely out of touch with it.
I will
Fair
tell her.
enough.
I will tell her that I am the son of Laval and Agal Lyceum.
Welcome to my home. My daughter, actually, I believe she's studying over at their academy.
I have not been there for a while. I had gone exploring and ended up deep in the Empire and then deep away from the Empire as fast as possible.
Have you ever come across Vesper?
Have I come across?
Argon history.
Say, have I? Here comes a 1. No, 8.
17. Not that hard to realize the daughter of one of the most influential people in the entire world at your academy. Vesper is her name. She has been inside of the entire program at the Lyceum for the better part of a decade at this point, which for a magic school is actually kind of reasonable. Like 10 years is you're barely even accomplished. And she's younger, definitely younger than her brother. You believe she's the youngest in the family. Kind of goal-oriented, like soul-focused in mind.
I have ran into her then. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell her that we I studied with her a few times over I'll just pick up some random research that we did.
Wonderful. Small world, isn't it?
It certainly can be at times.
Did you allow him to know that you are a Lyceum? No. Oh. Maybe you should. If he's being tasked with gaining information, there is encyclopedias with less knowledge of this world than your family.
We have petitioned to join his organization in a hopes of getting close. I don't
Dropping his
necessarily
guard?
know if it's a good
No?
idea, but it's a pretty good idea.
Absolutely. Well, I assume you all know your capabilities, strengths, and more than I do.
I think we should make our way to that inn and contemplate before we take on our actions.
Very good. Scanlan reaches underneath his vest and pulls out a ticket and slides it across the table towards, presumably the first seated would be Corvus, like closest. to
Yeah.
you.
Yes.
So slides it over to you, Corvus. And if you are interested in stopping by my shop, I am one of the co-owners of the Slayer's Cake. That is a 50% discount off of your first purchase.
Much appreciated.
You flip it over, and it's just a signature of Scanlan that says, "Yeah, 50 off." It's just written.
It smelled wonderful.
Of course. Anyways, I believe our breakfast is over, and well, we have things we have to go do. So goodbye.
Thank you both for your time.
Very welcome. Pleasure to meet all of you. Yes, it was certainly interesting to meet all of you.
Feel free to call on us if you need.
I'll send a cub out to you.
A what?
I have a feeling that's literal.
As you get over to the doors and open it, you see a pack of about 6 bear cubs come running in, all of which wearing armor and outfits, and running over to the table to start eating whatever buffet is set up there.
I just look at Corvus like, why did we have the bears get to eat up at this fucking table? Why do we have to be all nice and neat?
Scanlan will walk out with all of you. The bears get treated better than anybody else in this place, let me tell you.
I do not feel like we are in a position to question that with her.
I don't want to piss her off any more than we already have.
That.
Good.
Pet the bear.
Sorry.
Probably a little late for
Scanlan will whistle to one. Boo boo.
Boo boo.
Boo boo. And one of them comes like running over to all of you. He goes, I like this one the most. He's the smartest out of all of the big stupid bears. Yes, you are the smartest out of all the big stupid bears. And he just sits on the floor like a panda bear and looks at all of you. Feel free to pet them. He's not that stupid. And he walks out.
I'm gonna go try. Smell my hand. I don't know anything about this stuff. Please don't get mauled by a bear.
7. You hold your hand out and he starts chewing on your hand, and he actually like bites a little bit that causes you to recoil. You had a little bit of meat stuck in between your fingers, and he was trying to get that out. So I'll say 2 points of piercing damage. But
I do not know what today is.
I'm just going to let the creature smell me. That way it knows who to come for the message.
I'll pass, thank you.
Whatever. I give it a little scratch on the cheek.
And it just trots back over to the table.
That was awesome. I bet a bear.
What's a bear?
That's a bear.
Oh.
Yes, that is a bear.
All right, let's just leave.
We start walking.
Is that a normal house pet?
No.
You all walk out of the
Hey,
estate.
Sinclair, you know how you always are in touch with things like in the avarice or wherever you keep talking about?
Uh-huh.
Do they communicate with you all the time? Like, is there a way that you could send something and then they would try and contact you back? Doesn't have to be avarice. Could be, anywhere.
I can answer this question for you, Sinclair, because
I was thinking maybe on the back of the contract.
No. Each of the benefactors of hell have their own specific calling card in order to get in contact with them. Your primary benefactor is her. But aside from her, it's also Levistus. So if you want to send a message to Levistus, you have to... Well,
I don't really need a message sent out. I have an idea that here's what I'm trying to pitch. I think there's a way that I can cast a spell that would isolate you from being able to be contacted. So I was wondering if that was something we could test. Maybe without pissing anybody off. My thought is
might be-
this, and maybe you guys who know things, Argon, Sinclair, you guys can chime in. My thought is this: what if we cast a spell on him that isolated him so that whatever voice was whispering would suddenly not have the contact for a minute or an amount of time? Then could we potentially negotiate with him without the interference from the outside?
Yes, theoretically, that would be possible. I'm a free mind naturally, except when it comes to orders that I've received, which are the reasons why I wish to find another means of making a pack blade.
You can roll an Arcana check to get the answer,
Huh?
or anybody else proficient in Arcana.
No.
No idea. There
There
we
we
go,
go.
Argon. That's a good one. All right. So, oh no, this is what you would know. If there is a way to shut off magical capabilities filtering into an area, the people inside of them would also be exempt from them. Though you don't know packs specifically and if that's really arcane in nature, but there's been a couple of interrogation rooms with null magic used before. Argon, however, if an area was nullified for the passage of any type of magical or arcane use being filtered into it, yes, that could absolutely happen. If an individual was sanctified in the same exact manner, it should, in all seriousness and likelihood, stop any type of magical communication, even through divine intervention, from occurring. Divine is not infallible.
Okay. I will.
That was actually the name of one of the courses you've taken. Divine is not infallible.
Also, lead helps.
Yes. I feel like I should let both Onel and Argon know lead is always an option.
Wait, Onel has definitely transported some nefarious things in lead boxes.
And
It's
bags.
expensive.
Yeah.
Don't
I will
forget
let
that lead
Thornton
bag.
know all that to answer his question.
So is this something we could test, or is it not a test? Because I know there's a spell that I'm granted that can create
Yes.
a protective circle that things like frightenings and charmings and stuff like that, I can choose a creature that can't reach in and out of it.
The simplest thing would be the physical.
Sure, but we don't necessarily know or need that. Because if this is a voice speaking in his head, we're trying to eliminate that for a time.
Right. So if we go to the inn and say, find a closet and find a way to line that closet with lead and toss him in there.
Oh,
Should work.
right. I was hoping to be able to cast this at a time of interaction.
The only way I could see testing it would be to see if I lose my abilities.
Well, it doesn't disconnect you from all of your abilities. It disconnects you from the ability of being contacted or influenced by magic outside of
Yeah.
yourself. So a way to test that would somebody sends a sending at somebody who's inside of that proximity and see if it works. Somebody uses the fiery paper trip you learned from Reggie, see if it works. Stuff like that.
Does it?
That's as fancy as a pact. I was hoping.
It's not as fancy, but Argon can confirm with his 25. Archaically speaking, mechanically the
Yeah.
same.
I mean, I know it can protect people from being charmed and scared and things like that. So I don't know. It was just an idea. I just thought we had a minute. Maybe we could test it back in the room, see what happens.
No,
I mean, in
fine.
theory, we could put Corvus, O'Neill, any of us in the circle, and then Argon could try and send us a message, right? And if it gets through, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
I don't have sending.
Argon.
Message? Either?
Nope. I have I can make us all telepathically bonded.
That would do the same thing. If it shuts him
Yeah.
off from it, it would be.
Argon, would
Yeah.
someone of a higher caliber be able to penetrate that, though?
Normally spells of that nature
No, it's
can't be
granted by my god.
supplanted without actually dispelling it.
Okay.
They're generally all
Argon,
inclusive.
The answer is
Yeah.
no. More powerful would not make a difference unless they knew that that was happening and then they deliberately
Yeah.
dispel it. Like, that's the only way.
And it's granted by my god. So if it's to be,
Yeah.
it will be.
Divine is not infallible.
I don't really understand the word infallible, but I agree. I think that it's perfect too.
Okay.
I don't
So-
think it would prevent them from like their abilities and things like that, but it would give us a means of testing to see if it's like a possession via sending and things like that. for
Right.
sure.
Should we try it?
Sure.
All right. When we get back, when we get into our room, let's try it.
All right, you're at the inn. To get 2 rooms will be 2 gold. 2 rooms to support all 5 of you. Easy.
Sure.
I can say that's got to come out of party loot. I don't have 2 gold.
Here's 10, 5 days worth.
There you go. Here, Sinclair paid for it. There you go.
I got us kicked out of the big house, so
That's fair. So you guys want to test this? Fortune, please roll that spell in chat
Yep.
for me and describe what it looks like as you.
I don't know what spell
Cast
he's
this.
casting.
First,
I'm wondering. too.
I'm gonna have Argon cast his telepathic connectivity to the other 4.
So I will I will ritually cast that.
Okay.
All right, and then I'll stand there and I'll be like, all right, you guys are talking to each other. Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's see what happens if, and I kind of conjure a thing, make my hand into a big circle, and then cast that around Sinclair, figuring he wouldn't be a thing, and I'm going to. Oh, this won't work because I have to choose either celestial elemental, fey, fiend, or undead, huh?
Yeah, you have to choose one.
Fuck. Yeah, but none of us.
You can also cast it multiple
Try
times.
Fiend and try it on Ornell. I want to try something as well.
So I cast it on.
I sense danger.
Actually, I don't think the spell actually does any damage, so you should be.
Sense danger. Wrong edition.
Actually,
buddy.
it does do damage. But if this works the way you're thinking, this might also apply to this spell that I'm thinking of.
The creature can't willingly enter the cylinder by non-magical means. If the creature tries to use teleportation or interplanar travel to do so, it must first succeed on a charisma saving throw. The creature has disadvantage on attack rolls, blah, 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 blah. So can't be charmed, frightened, or possessed by the creature.
Right. That's the piece that I liked.
Oh. Just no.
Right.
If you know her creature type, you can nullify it.
Right. Yeah.
Don't know what kind of effect this actually applies on my spell, but I'll.
Keep in mind your powdered silver and iron was consumed in the casting
Yep.
of this spell.
What if we
So-
could just guess her type?
Well, that's why I'm saying let's try it with.
We don't have to guess her
Fiendish.
type. We know people who fought her. We can just go ask.
It was mostly a joke.
Oh.
You chose Fiend, right? Initially to test
Sure.
this with?
For
Yeah.
testing.
Okay, I'm gonna try Mind Spike since I am a fiend, a half fiend. This shouldn't work.
Who are you going to cast Mind Spike on?
The person inside the sphere, which is Ornell.
No, it's you.
No, I said put it.
I cast it on you.
Yeah, they're experimenting to see if you can be communed with by any of the fiends or anything else like that. So this is your chance to put a letter out there to Levistus or whom it may concern and see if they send something
Or did
back.
it disconnect him also from the teleportation, the conversation that everybody was having?
Well, it only disconnects you from fiends.
So it doesn't disconnect a fiend from the rest of our
Oh, good point. If the others are in the circle, then Sinclair would be disconnected from them.
Yeah.
So yeah, if the others are in the circle, Sinclair was disconnected to them.
I want to try Mind Spike on Ornell when he's in the circle.
Onel will hesitantly walk into the circle.
Charisma saving throw, Sinclair.
Is it Charisma saving throw?
Yep.
Here, let me cast a spell.
Oh, wait. Never mind. It's not a charisma save.
That's if he wants to physically enter it.
Let me read Mind Spike, because I think it is a charm.
Here's the spell description right here.
Thank you. It's divination. Ooh, that's not a charm.
No, it's a tracking spell.
So no matter what, this would not stop this from working.
Right.
Well, it allows you to
Yeah,
know the target's
so-
location until the end of the spell.
Right, but his spell doesn't stop any of this, so it's just casting Mind Spike or no. There's no inhibitants on this.
Okay.
Why did you hire
The
level
only
cast
thing-
it?
I only cast
He
at
can't-
fifth.
He's a warlock.
That's right.
Yeah. So, Ornell, you do get a waking headache, and now you know that part does not work.
Okay, so tracking doesn't work.
so-
Okay.
Fordrum would at minimum know the creature cannot directly influence the individual inside through any supernatural
Okay.
means. Charm, frighten, possession, anything like that. And you would also know that they could not send any type of communication inwards to an individual in that circle.
Right. Cool.
So yeah, that works.
So how would we
Somewhat how you hoped.
keep that person in the circle if they were unwilling?
Rope in a chair?
Not your chair.
Well, not my chair, no.
But, yeah.
That's a good chair.
I mean, your chair is the one that's always with us.
My chair deserves better than that. Well, there's got to be this is a friggin' castle. There's a chair somewhere in this castle
I assure you there are
that
chairs
is not
in
my
this game.
magical floating chair.
I promise all of you there are
And-
chairs in this world.
If I can force him to fail a saving throw, I can keep track of him if he were to escape for up to 24 hours, I believe.
Well, the second that this goes down, our interactions with him and getting into
Up to an hour.
the Slayer's take is done.
Yeah, no, I get that. I didn't mean that this was going to be our play. This was just some backup.
Okay. So we could just pin him somewhere and throw this down and then try to get through to him. And this is to see whether or not he's willingly participating or if he's possessed. Is that what we're trying to figure out?
That would be the idea would be to figure out his position in this game.
Okay.
If he is possessed, it might remove the tarnish for an hour, and maybe within that hour we could feasibly get to the real him.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a good plan. I also think that I should be watching him in the evenings, as per Lady Vexelia's request with the...
And I gotta say, honestly, if you're watching him in the evenings, that's great. But if he goes out and doesn't have all of his paperwork with him, I if there was a way to just get that somehow, I just am so afraid of.
Well, he had a backpack full of documents, which I doubt no fool would keep anything important in there. But there were approximately 7 different stash spots in that room that I would use. I could potentially investigate those while he was out, but that does risk some discovery.
I have another thing we can add to that plan of yours, Forgrim. If we wanted to create an off-site null zone with lead, Arcane Gate would allow us to remove him from where he's currently at to our chamber of lead instantaneously.
I don't even like lead. Lead's only good for making plates and cups.
Oh, God.
I think that's the opposite of what it's good for.
That'll kill people. That'll kill people.
That's some dwarven fortitude for you there.
No, I'm
Wonder
just
they got
saying
high
if we
poison
needed
resistance.
to
Right.
remove him from
I get all that. I get those theories, but I just feel like anyone who's possessed, especially, I mean, the possession, that's basically an idea where someone is taking control of you unwillingly. So if he is willing, that's a different story. But if there was a meaningful relationship with his family, we pull that out, we see what things are. I mean, they adopted him, they raised him. There was all these aspects of the upbringing that we have heard. And I think that the possibility of just removing him from that person who is tainting his mind for an hour, could that be enough to, even if he doesn't come with us, relinquish the documents and call it done? The third piece is, if the suspicions of the whole aspect of doing this was to get Craven's Edge remade, that's done. Anything else after that is just gravy.
One caveat, because I didn't want to interrupt you while you were talking to Lady Vexalia.
Yeah.
He did not steal information about making the weapons. He stole information about the last set of users to wield the weapons.
Right.
So he doesn't have any information that we're aware of regarding making them.
That's right. I forgot that part.
No, he has information of finding them, and
He has
he's part of
yeah.
a mercenary group
Yes,
that's in charge of hunting monsters, which is
Yes.
really good at finding weapons.
Agreed. And that's probably more of what the information was about, was trying to find out the last location of these 7 weapons.
It's impressive, honestly.
But aren't they a really big mercenary group that gets hired for also like protection of cities and states?
Yeah, what better cover?
And or what better, I mean, if you're the commander of such a thing and you're being manipulated by a creature, let's just lay it out there. If, let's say that this, what's her name, Delilah, was the one who happened to be manipulating him, now she has potentially a portion of the military here in Whitestone on her side, because the commander is arguably under her control.
With a grudge, no less.
Absolutely.
What concerns me also is the way the wolf the lady mentioned is occasionally smelling a second person or a second scent. When correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe that's how possession would work, and is more leaning towards willing participation, which may be done through persuasion and lies and such, as I've seen that before.
Well, that might also play into the fact that one of his contacts is infernal, because we contract lesser devils, such as the imp, who have the ability to appear magically invisible in and out of both Avernus and the mortal plane.
Is there a way to play your master against his?
Well, currently the research that's been going on is to find out who his master could be.
Why not ask yours?
Two masters are currently researching that. Mine and the contact back in Fordra's hometown, Uthader. She is the leader of Whispers, so she does a lot of secretive stuff. So she would know how to find that information out much better than my lord, or my jailer, I guess is the better term.
Well, I could also potentially reach out to any sort of undesirables in town and see what sort of information I could gather of the Slayer's takes less than notable activities.
However, I believe when we researched the properties of this gem that's in my mask, it would eventually have the ability to track said entities in the area. So maybe Lady Vecna would know how, or not.
Delilah.
No, not
Vexalia.
Vexalia. Would know how to unleash its potential.
You had me scared for a moment. I thought there was another mess you guys had stepped in.
Scalen's probably more likely to have that than her.
I don't know which one would be the better one to talk to. I'm just saying that this thing is a legendary sight augment, so the potential that it may have in its flushed out form, not in the weakened form that I'm using it in right now, could be beneficial to us if we can unleash it.
So
I just don't know how to do that. But if you think he would be a better option of asking to see how to unleash it, that would definitely aid us, because if I'm able to detect said entity, I can tag said entity with my mind spike.
Well, he seemed to be the most interested in the Lyceum, which denotes he has some form of intelligence beneath all of his bravado. So he may be the better one. I believe Vexalia is more emotional and would be less useful.
Yeah, Scalen was a renowned bard. The Lady Vexalia was a renowned ranger.
Right. So bards are, just in general, have better stories, where rangers
more useful
are, I don't know what you're cracking in your
it,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, they have more arcane training than someone of Lady Vexalia's
class.
Well, I'm trying not to use the word class.
Oh, sure. You as the DM feel perfectly safe picking on her.
Yeah. You can break the fourth wall and pick on her, but
her persuasion.
Yes.
Do you think you could contact Scalen?
I imagine we could leave him a note at the bar, or at the
with the cub that is visiting you tonight.
Oh, it comes every night.
Yeah, she says she'll send a cub out every night to get some information from you all, whatever you have.
Okay.
Just leave it on a note with one of the cubs.
I think having its full capability unleash would definitely help us in figuring out what kind of entity, because it should tell me what kind of entity it is.
Hey, Corvus, you got any more of that paper?
Little.
Well, enough to write one note to go back and forth to this Vexalia? I think
Need.
Worth it to know what type of creature Delilah was.
So before we go bugging her for it,
Okay.
can I legend lore it?
Yeah. You have a lot more information about her now.
True.
Very true.
Well, I guess that wasn't even what I was thinking, but I guess I could do that too. I meant legend loring his augment.
I believe we already.
Sinclair's
Yeah.
augment?
That's what he's
You never
talking
legend
about.
lored it. Yeah. Oh, I thought you were talking about Fordrum, who just offered a different bit of
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We could do both.
Yeah, I could legend. You're talking about legend loring.
So, guys, let's call the session here. Let's group all of your ideas, write them down, and then discuss them. Because I feel like we're going in 6 different directions, aiming for the same goal, just different directions.
That's the way we seem to go.
Players, thank you very much for playing. Viewers, thank you for watching. We'll see you next week.
When we might
Bye.
pick a direction.